Does the world lost? Because when it comes to creativity, does the world lost? Because when it comes, does the world lost? Because when it comes to creativity, does the world lost? Because when it comes, does the world lost? Because when it comes to creativity, does the world lost? Because when it comes, does the world lost? Because when it comes to creativity, does the world lost? Because when it comes.
Hello guys, this is Mewt Keys here, and I want to do a little deconstruction video on my newest single, And It Never Really Fades. You can find this track on Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Tidal, pretty much every major music platform. And yeah, for this video I'm just going to go through the deconstruction. I probably won't get in too much into the technical aspects of it. But yeah, you can see there's quite a lot happening here, and I hope my CPU can process most of it. So let's get into it. So, of course, I do want to talk about the inspiration behind this track, but I'm going to save that for another video. I'll be throwing little tips and hints here and there on my thought process for each section. I guess I should start off with the overall idea of it was there's a really good mix by DJ Markey. Shout out DJ Markey. And there's a few tracks on there that are unlisted, so that's really where the inspiration came from sonically, right? And I wanted to kind of capture that feeling of those tracks because I've been looking for them for 2-3 years already. And you know, they only go on for about 2-3 minutes, maybe even less than that. So I wanted something similar that I could, you know, vibe to. And that was the initial thought process going into this track. And yeah, I feel like I pull it off. It's not as technical as those tracks in that mix, but hey, you know, eventually we all get to that point. So let's go ahead and start off with the intro. Okay, so we have this nice little melody here, right? Pretty simple. And really, initially, I didn't want to keep this long because I've noticed a lot of the drum and bass tracks sometimes it gets to the good part, you know, a minute, minute and a half, sometimes 2 minutes in. I'm using my own arrangement that I have been kind of constructing. I've used this arrangement in house music. And what I've noticed with house music is that, you know, these 16 bars right here, by the 17th bar, you're kind of in the meat if you are not starting with a 4/4 with your rolling bass line or a grooving bass line. So I kind of wanted to work fast because I don't like to keep, personally, I don't like to sit through, you know, a lot of nothing just to make the song fit about 7 minutes. I would rather have 7 minutes of solid sound behind the track instead of, you know, rinse and repeat techniques or melodies or whatever. So here, if you notice from here, this section here, it already picks up. But it wasn't really a build-up for me. It was kind of introducing what's gonna happen next. You know, the energy definitely starts to pick up a little bit more. Right. So I'm doing this. I think if you guys have seen my previous breakdown videos, I did one on November something. I've trying to use that technique without so many risers and white noise and drum rolls and things like that. So let's talk about this melody for a second, because I'm not too sure on the technical name of it, but there's a lot of counter melodies. Let me go ahead and mute this right here, right there. So you have this that's on the fourth, or where is it at? There it is, right? So with these melodies here, what I was trying to do is I was trying to kind of create like a counter melody. I didn't want to keep it all in one instrument. And what that happens is you kind of get this weird like tick-tock or like a clock effect. If you listen to a clock, you can kind of hear it. You know, if you pay attention to the way a clock ticks, it's kind of in the same way. And it's very rhythmic in a sense. So that's what I was shooting for with these melodies here. I want to say that I've done it before, but I think this is the first time I understood what I was going for, and I executed it to the best of my ability. And then of course we have this melody here. And if we look at it here, it's a dun, 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 right? It's a 16th. And then here we have like a syncopated sort of groove compared to it's the same notes, they're just played differently. Right? There's a nice little lick right there at the end. So that's the melodies, and this kind of goes on for the most part of the track. This is the bread and butter. So let's move on to the build-up next. All right, so there we can see the energy is definitely picking up a lot more. We have some drone noises here. Right, and we do have risers here. I'm not sure if risers like this are pretty common in drum and bass, but again, I'm not really trying to stick to the formula. I don't really, if you've heard any of my music, it doesn't really fit so much into the standard. And it's not because I try to do that on purpose. It's just it's just what fits to me, like I make music that I would like to hear. And this is definitely something that I like to hear in music. Right? So let's kind of catch that with the drop now. So I have my drop already here. This is my third section. I try to hit the drop as fast as I can, I guess. Sometimes it's different. I let the music speak to me. I don't try to be too technical with the way this works. Let me unmute that. So let's go ahead and check out the third section, which is the drop. ABLETON just crashed. Something just crashed. No? Something happened. Oh, nice. Discord. Alright. You gotta love Discord. Fuck it, what an asshole. Let's go ahead and see if we can force quit anything going on in the background. That was really annoying. All right, let's get back to it.
Because when it comes to creativity and to leadership, we need introverts doing what they do best.
Okay, so sorry about that hiccup with Discord. That sucks that happens, but it'd be like that. So, right, we have the build up here, and really with that drop, like you want to get that energy. Like you want to try to bring that energy to get people, and again, I've kind of have my own techniques on that. Maybe they're not as good as some other producers out there, or what the standard is, but it's not really, I'm not really trying to reach that sort of potential. I'd rather have it, work out in my favor the way I know how to do things. And the one thing I've noticed is, you kind of keep the bass or use different bass lines. So here, if I were to add this bass line to, well, there's no drums here, so I can't. But a really good way to counter that, like let's say that you had a groove here, in the beginning section of this track, or the intro section of it, with drums, what you would do is, you'd probably mute it on these handful of bars right here, and then maybe drop it, and when you do drop the bass here, you introduce a different type of bass line. So later on in the song, there's a groove. A groove, I would say, is just more about kind of getting people familiar with the vibe of the track. And it's different. I think it's different. No, it's actually the same. It's the same bass line. Okay, so I totally contradicted myself there. But yeah, so my drums, often what I'll do, and it's lagging. Ooh, okay. What I'll do is I'll take some breaks. I do have sampled breaks from, sample packs and all that. I do use them. But what I'll do is I'll take what I need and build my own drums off of that. So here you can see it's actually just the break in MIDI. You can do that in Ableton. I'm pretty sure if you're using any other DAW, it will let you do that as well. But I cut them up, right? So I don't think I have like the actual, yeah, that's not it. That's what I do. I usually just, there's your kick. Okay, so like let's say we want to just put this, that's probably not gonna work. So it's something like right here, right? Something like that. I'm pretty sure if you guys are familiar with sampling and resampling and all that, then you guys know what I'm doing. But for my drum and bass drums, because I don't like to necessarily use stock drum hits on Ableton, for drum and bass, I kind of find that I don't get I get a very weak drum hit. I'll just sample, because that is probably going to guarantee you, if those samples are up to date, they're pretty clean samples, you're going to get some really good drum hits from there. And you just clean and process the way you need to. There's not too much processing on these drums.